Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a special collective reading to celebrate the full moon in Cancer. It's the last full moon of the year and it's called the cold moon. So collective, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, the information regarding that can be found in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. So just to honor the full moon, we're going to be using the Queen of the Moon Oracle. I'm going to pull a few cards from this deck, and the White Sage Tarot, which I don't believe I've used for a reading on the channel yet. So I hope everybody is doing well. Let's get straight to it. Angel, spirits, guides, what messages do you have for the collective for the full moon in Cancer? Okay. Full moon in Cancer reading, spirit. Okay, 3 cards came out. Number 1, number 9, and number 43. Number 1 corresponds to the Magician. And sorry, wow, there's a lot of glare. It's the void moon, and it's called the dark moon. You can see this figure kind of lying underneath the stars. The dark moon, suggesting perhaps that I just heard a cloudy period maybe over something that is maybe has transfixed you, or something that is making you feel as though you can finally wake up from something that has been putting the veil over your eyes, is what Spirit is telling me. Because it leads to the next card, number 9, which is assessing. This is the Hermit card in the Major Arcana. You can see here somebody who has a telescope and a hot air balloon. Also is reminiscent of the Hanged Man, somebody who is kind of raising their elevation, kind of looking at something from a distance in order to gain perspective, which is what assessing would suggest. And the last card here is the Blue Moon, number 43, the unexpected. 43 corresponds to the Chariot card, which is number 7 in the Major Arcana. That talks about victory, talks about moving forward, a mastery over the self. So you can see here, this is exactly how the cards came out, the order that they popped out when I shuffled. We're going from this darkness to midlight to full expansion of awareness and consciousness for you. I think that's an absolutely stunning energy to be in, because not only can you see progression, but you can appreciate where it is that you were coming from. Perhaps this is what I'm seeing. They said the word ignorance, which is to not to suggest that you are ignorant or have been ignorant in a derogatory way. It's just a state of maturity, of knowledge, awareness, consciousness, that you've gone from a place of darkness into a place of absolute expansion. And that expansion is leading you to an opening, almost like a portal to something brand new. I feel as though there was a long period of deliberation, perhaps even fear, like you had to know what you were getting into before you could walk towards it, which, I mean, anyone would understand that. But Spirit is kind of saying at some point you just kind of have to take a step forward. The cold moon, or the moon in Cancer, full moon in Cancer, it's always going to talk about 4th house issues, right? Cancer rules the 4th house, so it's kind of like domesticity, right? Family, the home, the hearth, stability. But Cancer is also associated with psychic energies, emotionality. And so Spirit is wanting to highlight that at this time, that the way that you can use the full moon to your advantage, if you are trying to manifest or trying to even release, is to look at the emotional side of the situation. So if you're experiencing blockages, this is just an example, but if you're experiencing blockages with money and you spend money emotionally, right, to fill a void, right, to fill something that is not there, it's about healing that. It's healing that so that you don't feel as though you need things or material possessions to fill that void. So you could use this full moon period to write a letter to Spirit, and then burn that letter and let it go. That's just an example of how you can harness this particular moon's energy. So I'm just going to pull 3 cards for the base red, 3 cards for clarifier. 1 extra card came out, and I will show you what it is. These cards are a little bit smaller than normal. It's the Strength card, Major Arcana number 8, representing Leo energy, and it is in reverse. Represented by this bear. Bear automatically makes me think of you being in a period of hibernation and perhaps coming out of that hibernation. However, with the Strength card, that's talking about a mastery of the ego, and it was kind of, it's supporting what I was just talking about in terms of blockages and emotional blockages, because those happen when the ego goes into overdrive and we're compensating for past pain, past hurt, past trauma. And so Spirit is kind of, this extra card came out to remind you that, number 1, you are completely loved. You are loved by your spirit guides. You are loved by the universe, the divine. It's almost like this is you and your higher self, right? Like walking hand in hand through this next phase of life together, perhaps the new year energy together. But there's still a lot of confrontation is the word that they're giving me, that has to happen between, it's almost like talking it out between you and your higher self and coming to a place of resolve. That needs to happen in order for you to achieve this next phase and walking through the portal, right? Which, if I'm going to say walk through the portal, it's going to lead to abundance. It's the light at the end of the tunnel, because in your past energy it was this, right? It's like very, very clear the progression that's happening, at least to me. In the past energy of the Knight of Pentacles, so there could have been an offer that came in. It's clarified, however, by the King of Swords in the reverse. When the King of Swords is in reverse, anytime the kings, the divine masculines, are in reverse, there's going to be a level of frustration to the extreme, because there's a lack of control. There's a lack of awareness with something. And in the past energy, there could have been something on offer here that you didn't have all the information about. The King of Swords is all about understanding a situation from all sides, because he's so smart. He's very, very wise. It's usually an authority figure. It doesn't have to be a man. It's just divine masculine energy. This could be you, right? But in the reverse, it's almost as if you were not given all the information. So maybe you were not able to take this opportunity that was being presented to you because you just didn't have all the information. You didn't want to take a risk, and it could have frustrated you. Clarifying that the World card. Okay, so it's interesting because anytime I see an acorn, and I just saw an acorn like literally on a tree yesterday. Acorns are so profound symbolically because they represent the great oak tree in its infancy, in its inception. The mighty oak, the resilient oak. The World card, number 21, the Major Arcana, talks about a chapter closing. So now I asked for clarification, and it's almost like, it's like you had to close out a chapter first before you could even begin to accept something new. And that could have really frustrated you because you may not have had all the information. You just knew that you had to close out a cycle. This is chapters closing and new ones beginning. That was in the past energy. In the present energy, the Two of Cups in the reverse, right? See? Two of Cups to me always represents the connection. It could represent a divine connection, a romantic connection, or a familial one. But to me, it always represents, first and foremost, the connection between you and your higher self. That's how I read it as a reader. And that's how I interpret it, as a reader. With this this card in reverse, there's a disconnect. There has been, it might have been hard for you in the past few weeks or months to channel your soul space. Perhaps because it's just been hustling and bustling, and I totally get that. That's kind of how I've been feeling too. Spirit is giving that to me. Like they have to draw upon the Rolodex in my mind, the storehouse in my mind of symbols and experiences for me to convey a message to you. And they're showing me that since July, essentially, life has been a blur. Because I've been doing so much, and yet, what have I been doing, right? It's that feeling of, I've been so... Sorry, a crystal just fell. It was this crystal, rose quartz. Spirit is saying there's a need for self-love at this time. Sorry, that was a little, it just surprised me. Been doing so much, you've been doing so much, and yet, what do you have to show for it? It's almost like that feeling. It's not to say that there isn't a lot to show for it. There isn't a lot that you shouldn't be proud of. You should absolutely be proud of everything that you've accomplished. Even if it's just self-care, right? Even if it's you stepping away from the hustle and bustle, but having the strength to be able to say, I'm not going to, kill myself for work or for family or for anybody. I'm just going to take things in stride and go with the flow. Six of Swords in the reverse clarifies that disconnect, right? Six of Swords is kind of like, it's similar to the Eight of Cups. It's like a homecoming. It's like a coming back towards something for me at this time. Like there was a chaos, because this card represents moving from choppy waters to calm waters, from chaos to calm, at least in the space of the mind, because we're talking about emotions and we're talking about the mind. Spirit is kind of saying that you're clearing away the clutter now, that you have a moment to breathe, is what they just said. You have a moment to breathe, and you're kind of assessing what it is that you might have been overthinking. Maybe you put too much thought into a situation that didn't require that much thought. Like there's some anxiety. It's almost like instead of listening to your intuition, you listened to your brain, and your brain drove you nuts. It's a clarifier for this present energy, Spirit. Knight of Cups. Look at this guy. It's a little otter. It's a little otter with a helmet. This looks like Hermes. Like, isn't he the god of, wait, what god is he? Which is the god of speed? Apollo? I can't remember. Because there's a little lightning bolt. This is the Knight of Cups. This is emotional energy. But there's a little lightning bolt on his helmet, which I'm fascinated by. Rushing in to give you a cup of coffee. How adorable is that? The Knight of Cups is somebody who rushes in with something, an authentic gesture of love. And I'm going to tell you right now, anybody who brings me a hot cup of coffee, a latte even better, right? There's something so adorable to this energy. It's almost like you realizing that it's the little things. They're quoting that book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. I think it's like you're seeing that now. And so it's the little things. It's your cup of coffee in the morning or your cup of tea. It's the quiet space. It's that shared space, the coffee clutch, which I didn't realize was actually a German word for getting together over coffee and gossiping. Did not know. It's the simple things. Maybe that's what's unexpected. You being in these spaces of these micro doses of gratitude, adding up to a very full heart. It's hard. It's really hard to be in that vibration all the time, but you're working on it. Future energy, High Priestess in reverse, represented by this calico cat with the moon where her third eye is. You see that? Pisces energy, future energy, 8 of Pentacles, represented by these sand dollars in the reverse. To clarify, so there are 2 ways. Whenever I see the High Priestess in reverse, there are 2 ways that I can read it, 2 ways I like to read it. One is either you're not in touch with your inner guidance system, you're not either believing in your talents as a psychic being, because we all have psychic abilities and clair abilities, or there's something that you really want to say, because the High Priestess is typically mute. I kind of feel like it's the latter, like there is something that you are, it's almost, so I'm thinking of my cats, right? I have 3 cats, and they can just get up on a dime. They can be completely, you think they're just dead to the world, just asleep, and within seconds they can just jump right up and run towards something, a sound that they hear or a feeling that they have. You know, you hear the food can open, oh my God, they'll just run from who knows where. So it's almost like I see this image of the cat just springing to life and wanting to speak, wanting to say something. With the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, this typically talks about a card of deep investment, diligence, and hard work. It's almost like you have this message that you are no longer going to be investing so much into a particular endeavor. Maybe because you are turning your attention now to something else. Let's see what that is. Two of Pentacles in reverse, okay? Putting something down. This is usually the card of flip-flopping or multitasking. You're not doing that anymore. Got it. King of Cups. Look at that. Kind of sitting pretty. Here the king has his coffee too. But the King of Cups represents Scorpio energies. So far in this reading, we got Leo, Pisces, Scorpio, Gemini. My ear is ringing. Chariot, which is Cancer energy. So a lot of water energy represented here. But the King of Cups is somebody who has an emotional maturity, an emotional accessibility. This is great because that's precisely the energy that you need to channel in order to be able to manifest your next step. Because what do they always say about manifestation? That it's all about your vibration. It's all about the space of belief and gratitude. Believe it to see it. Feel joyful about the $1 million that you're going to get. Feel joyful about that beautiful partner that you're going to meet. Feel joyful about all the good health that you are bringing in, whatever it is. That accessibility to your emotional state is what is required at this time. And what better time than the full moon in Cancer to be able to access that. When you access it though, it's like the door is open so lots of things can come through. Some of those things are going to be unresolved issues. Again, a perfect time to write them all down, speak them out loud, even if it's just alone to yourself, and just say, I release it, you know? What can it hurt? Even if there's part of you that doesn't believe it right now, because I feel like there's somebody, I just heard somebody doubt it, that's fine. But what can it hurt? It doesn't hurt anybody for you to say, I release the pain that that friend inflicted on me. I release my anger towards my sibling. I release my frustration with whatever. Whether or not it happens, at least you're putting the intention out there. And it shows your ego that you're taking yourself seriously, as opposed to letting the ego run the show. That's not a place that we want to be. A final word from Spirit. It's just a quick reading. 7 of Wands in the reverse. 7 of Wands can be a card of blocking. Oh, now this ear is ringing. Your spirit guides have just swooped right in. They've swooped right in. Release the blockages. Release your heart's blockage that you are trying to protect yourself. But in doing so, you're also protecting, you're closing the door to potential abundance. And Spirit is saying, open up that door. Right? Be ready for what comes through. Be in a space of gratitude and understanding and emotional maturity. Sometimes emotional maturity, I found, is being able to say, like if somebody gives you a gift, like being able to say thank you and not be embarrassed by getting that gift. This is the season of gift giving, right? You ever notice that when you give a gift to somebody, sometimes they get really embarrassed? Like they're very thankful, but they're like super embarrassed because part of them doesn't feel like they deserved it. And you think, God, that's so silly. Of course they deserve it, right? Somebody is thinking that about you right now, that you deserve the best, and you're almost batting it away. And this is saying, don't bat it away anymore. This is advice from Spirit. Don't bat it away. Don't bat away the abundance that is meant for you. That's your reading, collective. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. I am offering a limited time 2024 personal forecast reading. If you'd like to sign up for one of those, please visit my donation and services page in the About section of my channel. Thank you so much.